Hello everybody and welcome to the coffee table. Alright, so in this in this game we're gonna hop right into it. This is gonna be Battleplan, the American Civil War. This is a cute little low poly game that I found over on Steam the other week. It is definitely on sale right now because the spring sale is going on. So why do I like this game so much and why am I bringing it up right now? Well, first of all, I don't think it gets a lot of attention. It's an underrated gem that I found over in the Steam store, and it's seen over at mixed reviews. I think there's a couple obvious reasons for that. I'll be going over those in just a couple of minutes, but as I mentioned, this is a low poly game covering the American Civil War. I personally would rather play this than most other American Civil War games that are on the market right now. One has to do with a little bit of price. It's a pretty small game, pretty cheap. Also, it's very small in terms of hardware requirements, graphical limitations. Some of the other games that are released recently can be a little bit more demanding. Not that demanding, but still. And finally, I also think that it's got a much more in-depth look at all the battles. As you can see right now, we are playing on the Antietam battlefield. If you look up at the very top of your screen, you're going to see that it lists the name of the battle. If you didn't know where we're at just by looking at the map. There are only a handful of battles in this map. Battles in this game. I believe there's only like a total of around 12 or 13. It's a pretty small, simple game, but it's also incredibly enjoyable, easy to pick up, easy to play, a little bit complicated just because one of those easy to pick up, difficult to master games just because there's a little bit going on, just things that you need to understand. You can play on multiple difficulties. The harder you play on, the more things you need to accomplish during a battle. I am playing on the hardest difficulty right now. That means that I have to acquire each of those little red circles that you can see at the very top of the map kind of right now. Dunkirk, Sharpsburg, and Lower Bridge are the 3 command points that I need to acquire. I'm currently going to be moving away from the Lower Bridge just because as somebody who's played this game a little bit, I know that I do not want to be pushing on the Lower Bridge. That's just my take on it. Maybe if you pick this game up, you might want to push on the Lower Bridge. The issue that I find when I play that, and this is one of the key things that I like about this game, is that there is a little bit of terrain deformation. Those bridges can be destroyed by artillery pressure. They can be choke points for your units. And that's another key aspect that I like about this game. Unit cohesion, unit interaction is a thing, whereas in Total War and most other tactics strategy games, you can stack units on top of units. Even in Strategos, the new kind of high-res, low poly, high octane, not even high octane, the more active battle system of Strategos, the recently released ancient warfare simulator. If you stack units on top of one another, there's not much of a penalty for that, but in this, there is, and that's kind of cool. What you're going to notice right there is, over on the side of the Bloody Lane, if you're looking at the screen right now, one of my cavalry units, yes, there are multiple types of units in this game, I'll be going over that in just a sec, ran away, and that's part of that whole destruction system that I'm talking about. As you can see over at Dunkirk Church, I have 2 units stacked on top of one another. That's causing cohesion loss, and that's just something that I don't see in a lot of tactics games, and I think that more of that should be implemented because it's a pretty cool mechanic. Rather than just throwing units on top of units and having like these dog piles of combat, it's nice to have their physics simulated in a manner of, no, in reality, if units run into each other, they're going to get confused, they're going to have problems, and that is something that actually did happen during the American Civil War. Troops, units, commanders, misinterpreted orders, got lost, caused confusion, and ran into each other. And that kind of goes along with this whole idea of, while the AI in this game is not like extreme or advanced or highly intelligent, they do have a little bit of personality. What you're seeing right there, if you notice the 2 units that just ran into each other right there, is for a brief second they had a couple exclamation marks above their unit cards, unit frames, and those exclamation marks just indicated that those units were taking advantage of chasing after some Confederate troops. They're going to engage some Confederate troops that they had seen, and they wanted to be proactive. Similarly, you're going to notice a couple of my units might be denying my orders. A couple of them are, most of them in fact, are just saying, yeah, we'll do what you say. But they have the option to roll the dice, I guess. I don't know what the actual check on the computer is, but determine, like that one did. Am I going to wait and like try and reorganize, try and determine something, or do I just trust my commander and move on to it? And unfortunately, there's no actual like building up relations with your underlings because each battle's its own microcosm. But you can kind of get that sense of what the American Civil War battles were like, in that a unit might be like, I'm going to delay a little bit. Now, the only unit that's exempt from that whole, I'm going to take my time considering where I'm going to execute orders, is the general, because the general is basically the player's unit card. That's the one with the white circle that you might have just noticed, where when I command that one, it moves instantly. The rest of these, however, are taking their time, they're considering, they might say no, they might say yes. Similarly, this game also works on the basis of, do my orders even reach the units in question? Like, if I if I want a unit to do something, do I have a direct connection? Do I have a path to that unit? And if not, I need to figure out how to develop a direct path, and that can either be moving my general across the entire battlefield, or it can mean opening up a new avenue, like cutting across Confederate positions, so that I have the opportunity to command that unit. Now, as you can see, I just moved that one unit rather than trying to cross the lake. I moved them back down, because if you try and order a unit across the lake, they're going to get bogged down even more. That's going to slow them down a whole lot more. I just want them to get across the lake fast, or the river faster. And to do that, the best thing to do is going to actually be to send them all the way around, away from the bank, to the nearest bridge. Because the unit's not just going to be across a body of water just because you said so. Either going to need to build a pontoon bridge or figure out a way across. And again, they can do either of those. It's just how much time do you have and how much do you want to take. And that's part of the key features of this game, in that there is a timer. If we look up at the top right-hand corner, just below the Confederate icon, there's a circle with it's like a little compass star thing. But that compass isn't really like a direction indicator. No, that is your timer. The red on that timer is how much time has elapsed and how much longer you have. It's not exactly like Ultimate General where it tells you the exact time. Even that time is kind of skewed, and like, good luck figuring out exactly how much that is, because I noticed that like a second's not exactly a second or a minute. Sometimes it can be various things. But you also you can easily see, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you like your strategy games. I know there are 45 Confederate units. I know there are also 46 Union troops on the field. I know that I have 8 reinforcements coming in, and the Confederates are expecting to have 8 as well. Meanwhile, the Confederacy has lost about 3 units, and I have lost about 2 at this point in time. So, going into the various types of units, it's a pretty simple game again. This is one of the nice things about it, but there are only 5 types of units. Right now, you can see me moving one of my artillery trains all around. It's a smaller artillery train, but it's designated by the blue squares with the black triangles on top. Most units, when you're playing this game, are going to be your long bar infantry formations. Those are going to be the majority of your units. You also have the large blocky ones that you can see next to my infantry lines, which are going to be my cavalry units. I'm using them as frontline engagers, kind of. Whether that's the most efficient or not, I have yet to determine. But if I send them around the back lines of my thing, I run the issue where they're going to get intercepted, and I'm not going to be able to command them, because if they haven't completed an order, or they're out of command radius, like, I just can't get an order to them, as I said, because I've run out of positioning. Like, I can't get a direct line to them, then I won't be able to command them. So I don't want to send my cavalry around the back, because then I won't be able to command it. Even if it would be a lot advantageous thing. Similarly, there's also the baggage train. This is one of the more important units, mostly for your artillery, because your artillery does work on an ammunition system, whereas your units, like your line infantry, kind of just have their designated, they're assumed to have plenty of ammo the entire thing. Your artillery trains are going to need to be supplied the entire time, and that means paying attention to where their supplies are at, how much ammunition they have. So, this is basically the system. That's kind of what Battleplan American Civil War is. I just think it's a really neat, small game. It released a couple years ago. Another thing that I'm going to point out is kind of self-evident, but using the road system, you might have noticed me using it quite a bit in this video here, just because it's easier to move units along the road. Obviously, I'm not doing it with that cavalry unit, because the cavalry unit can move fast, and those units that aren't going to be using it in the future are kind of close enough to the road where it's going to be no difference either way. And I'm mostly just relying on getting them across that bridge so that they're not all waddled up that middle bridge. But yeah, again, that is just the Battleplan American Civil War, and I kind of think it's a really interesting game that didn't get enough spotlight. You can find it over on Steam pretty easily, as you can with most games. It's pretty cheap right now because the spring sale is going on. I also do want to mention that there are a couple issues with running the game, and that's probably why it's not the most well-sold game, why it's not sitting at a very high review score. I believe it's currently at mixed. But the reason for that is because it doesn't work too well with the Steam overlay info. So, like, if you use the Steam overlay, I would recommend either just turning it off when you're playing this game or turn it off altogether, just because personally I don't find too much value in it. The Steam overlay system has never been too beneficial for me. That's me, not me throwing shit at Valve here. I'm just saying it's not the best system, so I don't like it. There are better systems. I don't need it all the time, so I just recommend turning it off if you can, or turning it off just for this game if you're playing it, if you're interested in it. There is another issue where if you turn it up to the highest rendering position, like system, again, this isn't a graphically intense game, but there are the rendering options, and if you turn it up to the highest option, it does have a tendency to kind of full scale the game to the point where your screen probably won't handle it if you're on a lower res monitor. So I would recommend, if you do that and you need to fix it, there are solutions to that online. They're really easy to find. You just go into the files, kind of edit those for a second, and you'll be good to go. It only took me like 5 minutes at most, and then I was able to play the game again. Because if you do put it up to that high resolution, you're going to run into the issue where you just have kind of bricked your game. So I'd recommend just not putting it on the highest resolution, just kind of play around with that resolution on the lower settings and up it, and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about until you find a comfortable position to leave it in. Now, admittedly, I am running out of time to complete this battle. As you can see, that red circle is getting closer and closer, and I also think I am running out of time for this video because I do want to keep this relatively short. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I did want to show this off to you. I wanted you guys to at least take a look at this, and also, real quickly, we're going to show the reinforcements that have shown up on the left-hand side of the battle. I'm just going to brick command them, move them all over, because I don't think they're going to show up before I run out of time on that little red thing. But if you're paying more attention than I am when you're playing this game, maybe you can do better than I did, because I have almost certainly lost this battle. There's no way I get on top of that hill over at the lower bridge, and there's no way I capture Sharpsburg. So maybe pushing all of my troops over on Dunkerchurch wasn't the best option. With having said that, I do hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys take a chance to go look at this game, just because, again, I really do think it's a pretty good game. I do think it's worth your time and money, just because it's short, it's simple, and with how the economy is right now, sometimes we just need short, simple games that are pretty cheap, right? So, with that, I have been Alec, this has been The Coffee Table, and I bid you adieu. Thank you all very much for watching, and have a